Honorable Chief Guest, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor Sir, and all the dignitaries, my dear colleagues and dear students, good morning to all. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to the felicitation ceremony of Dr. William Dhar, former Minister of Agriculture, Philippines, and ex-director ICRISAT, on being conferred with the first MS Swaminathan Global Award for Sustainable Development, to recognize the outstanding contribution of Dr. William towards global food security and sustainable development. We are also grateful to Sir for accepting our invitation to deliver a special lecture today. Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity. To make this morning a blessed one, let's invoke Goddess Saraswati by kindling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. I request our chief guest and all the dignitaries to kindly kindle the lamp.
अभिनव गति के द्वार दे फिर आज तेरे लोक में दीपक जला है ज्ञान का अनबुझ न नव ज्ञान का ज्ञान का हम खोल दे सारी दिशाएं द्वार नवल प्रकाश के ऐसा हमारे देश को अविराम तू संचार दे
I would now request our Honorable Chancellor Sir to welcome our chief guest by presenting a bouquet to him. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. I now invite Dean, Sharda School of Agricultural Sciences, Professor Dolly Wataldhar, to introduce our chief guest. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Uzma. Good morning to all of you. I, on behalf of School of Agricultural Sciences and Sharda University, would like to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. William Dar. Dr. William Dar has achieved outstanding impact in agriculture research for development and guiding crucial periods of renewal in major national, regional, and international institutions. Time and again, national and international public institutions in periods of difficulty have called on him to build teamwork, unify vision and strategy, raise morale, and increase donor support for their food security missions. Dr. Dar was born in Danuman, West Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur, Philippines in 1953. He obtained his PhD degree in horticulture from the University of Philippines, Los Baños in 1980. He quickly rose to the position of Professor 6 and then Vice President for Research and Development at the Benguet State University while catalyzing innovation in fundraising and capacity building within the inter-institutional Cordillera Integrated Agricultural Development Program. He innovated a novel institutional development model to get research results off the shelf and into use by spearheading the formation of the BSU Development Foundation. His success at BSU led to his appointment as Director of the Bureau of Agriculture Research of the Philippines Department of Agriculture in 1987. Bureau of Agriculture Research, he coordinated a large array of diverse agencies, field units, and international R&D institutions working under the DA's aegis. He united their research management processes and systematized priority setting, monitoring, and assessment, and project development. One of his achievements was to galvanize that Mount Pinatubo Research and Development Program to help the devastated region recover from volcanoes' eruption in 1991. He also advised the Philippine Senate on GATT negotiation issues and helped persuade politicians to increase investments in agriculture and fisheries program. His legacy of achievement at Bar led to his appointment in 1994 as Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Forestry, and Natural Resources Research and Development, that is PECAD, the nation's apex agriculture research. Once again, the challenge was to harmonize strategy and increase the collective effectiveness of a wide array of diverse institutions and agencies at a difficult time when agriculture had dropped to a lower priority for most of the governments. He harmonized agency agendas, strengthened partnership with the private sector, NGOs, universities, ministers, networks, Congress, and international organizations, improved agriculture research and development, priority setting, and increased funding support. Recognition of Dr. Dar's leadership skills extended well beyond Philippines. While leading PICAD Center, he also took up the chairmanship of the Asia Pacific Association of Agriculture Research Institution, known as APARI, the Apex Agriculture R&D Network for Asia and Pacific, and served on the boards of trustees of the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, or CIMIT, the governing board of the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, that is ICRISAT, the Policy Advisory Council of the Australian Centre for International Agriculture Research, and several other major international bodies. Dr. Dar's revitalization of PICAD drew the notice of national political leaders, leading to an even higher responsibility as the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture. Yet again, he distinguished himself with rapid-fire achievements. He prepared the groundwork for the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act, transforming the Department of Agriculture strategy to become science and technology driven. He empowered local government units, DA regions, institutes, and rural communities to participate in bottom-up planning. On the basis of this outstanding performance, in 1999, Dr. Dar was appointed as a presidential advisor on food security and rural development by the President of Philippines, Gaining wide praise for his achievements, in 2000, he became Director General of ICRISAT in India at Hyderabad. His transformation of ICRISAT into a forward-looking he transformed ICRISAT into a forward-looking institution. In 2010, ICRISAT, led by Professor Dar, won the CGIAR Science Award for outstanding partnership together with the World Vegetable Center for improving the lives of women and children in West Africa. As Director General of ICRISAT, Dr. Dar also responded to the call of Asian countries in 2007 to take up the chairmanship of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification's Committee on Science and Technology. Throughout his successful career, Dr. Dar has received a number of awards and honors for outstanding performance as an individual scientist and a great leader. He has received Outstanding Young Man of the Philippines Award, Outstanding Young Scientist of the Year, Crop Science Society of the Philippines Achievement Award for Research Management, Outstanding Science Administrator given by the Philippines Department of Science and Technology, the 2007 Outstanding Professional of the Year Award in the field of agriculture by the Professional Regulatory Commission of the Philippines. In 2009, he was conferred the Father Jose Burgos Award, Lucas Sur's most prestigious award for his outstanding achievement in the field of agriculture. In recognition of his excellent contribution to pulse research and development, he was honored with the Indian Society of Pulses Research and Development Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2009, the University of Philippines, Los Baños, honored him with the Outstanding Alumnus Award. In 2010, he was conferred the Lifetime Achievement Award by PSAI. In 2012, he received the Bar Legacy Plaque of Appreciation for his invaluable contributions as the first director of Philippines Bureau of Agriculture Research, setting its directions and bearing as a research and development arm of the Department of Agriculture. In 2013, Dr. Dar received the prestigious M.S. Swaminathan Award for Leadership in Agriculture for the year 2013. Instituted by the Trust for Advancement of Agriculture Sciences, that is called as TAS in India. Dr. Dar also received the Excellence in Agriculture Leadership Award, which was given by Association of Agricultural Technology in Southeast Asia in Bangkok, Thailand in 2013, followed by an award given by Federation of Asian Biotechnology Association in Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh on Special Award for Biotechnology and Life Sciences Sector 2014. The latest recognition of his work includes the Lifetime Achievement Award under the Agriculture Leadership Awards given by Agriculture Today with Dr. M.S. Swaminathan as the chairman of the award committee, and the special award given by the governing board of ICRISAT for fostering science with a human face and for advancing inclusive market-oriented development. It gives me immense pleasure, great pleasure, to express my appreciation for you, sir, on being conferred with the first M.S. Swaminathan Global Award for Sustainable Development. We at Sharda University would like to felicitate you for your achievements, and I am extremely grateful to you for your kind acceptance to be with us and deliver a special lecture today at our university for our faculty and the students. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Siba Ram Khara, for welcoming our guest. Sir, please.
Honorable Chancellor of Sharda University, Sri P.K. Gupta ji, Professor William Dar, the chief guest today, Professor Dolly Wattal Dhar, Dean, School of Agriculture, Dr. Parmanand, Dean Academics of Sharda University, all the HODs, Deans, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning. First of all, I give my heartiest welcome to William Durr for accepting our invitations and sparing his time to visit Sharda University, and he will be delivering the keynote address, giving valuable informations. I am sure that his address will be very, very useful for students, faculty members, and others. Sharda University, as we know that it is a multidisciplinary university and a truly global university with the students from across various countries. We have diversity in the discipline. We have biotechnology, we have life science, food technology, agriculture, pharmacy, besides engineering, business, medicals, and other programs. We have eminent scientists with us, Professor Hasnain Saab, Professor Joshi, Professor in biotechnology, Waminnu Jha and others, and Professor Gaur also in the agriculture domain. So today's agriculture, as we believe that as an academician, research is cross-cutting domain, because plant biology and study of the plants and agriculture is very, very important. We remember one quote or one advice by our Honorable Prime Minister during pandemic, "Jaan hai to jaan hai." Okay, so we locked down inside, do not move, and people actually moved, all those workers and other people, to their village setup. That time it was only the food, and it was the only agriculture which supported us, and that was quite unaffected during pandemic economically, almost unaffected, whereas other service sectors and industry sectors and productions were all shut down. So food security of any country or of this planet is very, very important. If anything collapses, everything collapses. But if food security is there, whether it is a wartime or it is a flood or it is pandemic or any natural calamity, then there is no worry. So our Prime Minister very proudly declared that I can feed whole world. So from India, such a strong statement during pandemic, and he continued the free food service up to November last year. So that is the strength of India being an agricultural country, and we must promote. And Professor William Durr was emphasizing that agro-based startup, that is need of the hour. The agriculture can be made even a white collar job, or startup can be very, very well taken with the support of the technology, because today's agriculture is not the agricultural process as we have seen in our childhood, very muddy and all other things. No. So vertical farming and high productive production is very, very important, and any country will survive and will make a very strong base of the economics, so that its economics will be unaffected despite, irrespective of any conditions, whatever happens, any industry productions or IT fails, it is the agriculture. So with that mindset, we should work together, and our agriculture department is very strong. Professor Gaur has established certain high-end research laboratories in the agriculture, and other discipline students, whatever the disciplines I have mentioned, biotechnology, life science, food technology, and other faculty members, students can see and work together. So thank you very much once again, Dr. William Durr, for your time. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. May I please request
Hasnain Saab, it's a really honor that Dr. Dhar, he is with us, and I just came to know a week before that he is coming, and he has been nominated as a Swaminathan, one of the most prestigious award for this country, goes to him. So, being from Filipino, sir, for 15 years, ICRISAT, as a director, and contributing in their research, innovations, and for sustainable development of Indian agriculture system. It's a big milestone for him as far as because personal recognition is concerned. I was just talking about him. So how do you felt in India? He says ki after research coming to India, after long research, he found their ancestors are from India. So when 1860, when the British invaded in Filipino, so they left a lot of Indian army soldiers there. So few of them are Sardar. And later on, he became the Dr. William Dhar. So Dhar means he is a part of Sardar. Am I right, Dr. William? So he feel that I am very close to India and Indians citizens. So I don't want to waste much time because today the whole event is organized to listen his experience and his innovative ideas, how we can make the sustainable development for food security for the global. Thank you very much, Dr. Dhar, and we look forward that you keep coming here to this university, and we have requested you to be a part of our governance and give about your creative ideas about how you can help us to make this university as a global university in terms of research collaboration with Filipino, and I know that you have been recognized scientists across the world, not from India, but throughout the world he has been known. Dr. Hasnan was telling me about you, that he's one of the greatest scientists he's ever met, because you worked together for 10 years in Central Hyderabad and ICRISAT. Thank you very much, and I hope that all our students and the faculty will be enlightened with his ideas, and hope they will follow his path. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite our chief guest, Dr. William Dar, for his remarks in special lecture on enhancing science and innovation to feed the world. Sir, please. I also request all the dignitaries to please.
You will be happy to hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can we request them to control from them out? Yes. Next slide.
They will control? Sunil, sir?
They can control from there, or what?
PPT?
Can they control from there?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yes, it is there.
You
no.
have the pointer?
Have the pointer.
You can handle that. I'll just give the signal. Sunil.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. No. No, that's not just like this. Yeah. More.
First slide, first.
There you are.
Okay, so we'll take care of the control.
Yeah. No, you can.
We'll do it. So we enter.
Thank you, most esteemed and respected Sri P.K. Chancellor of Sharda University, Dr. Sibaram Kara, Vice Chancellor, Sharda University, and also thank you, Professor Dali Watal Dar, my relative, for the comprehensive introduction. The other officials and guests who are here for this lecture, faculty and staff of the shining and very prestigious university, Sharda University, dear students, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I have selected this topic today because every citizen of the world needs to eat 3 square meals a day. So it's a basic requirement, it's a basic right, and hoping that after the lecture that I would have impacted in terms of your consciousness in regard to feeding the world, much more the poorer sector of society. And if you have to look at the data within India, the poverty level is about 16.4%. More or less 200 million people are poor, and these are the very people who cannot, eat 3 square meals a day. And if you look at globally, there are about 828 million people that are hungry, and more or less the same number as that of being poor. Now, before going to this, let me take this opportunity to thank the leadership of Sharda University for having considered me a member of the governing board of Sharda University. I just received my letter today, and again, my response was only the best for Sharda University. Okay, thank you. And let's go to the next slide. The world's population will multiply more rapidly than the available food supply. Next slide. Which means that we, in terms of food production, we are not able really to, produce enough for our population. Although some countries may have excess, like India for one. You are considered one of the best in terms of grain production, more than 300 million metric tons. And if you look at globally, this is the number that we are going that, yes, we continue to be part of the global trading system. Now, pure profit motive is not, a, you know, I would believe that social enterprise will be a better model than having just a pure profit motive. Now, these are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that every country have tried. I mean, they signed into it, and but if you go through the scorecard so far, as the scorecard would show that in many of these Sustainable Development Goals, we are far behind the targets. Yesterday, in a session at the AgriWorld 2022, when there was this discussion about climate crisis and food security, we said that because of this hotter climate, because of the new normal happening as a result of the climate change, still it must be a high priority to give emphasis into producing enough food for the world. So next slide. Again, I will always now highlight that in a evergreen revolution, these are the very characteristics where you need not only consider productivity, but profitability. This is the other portion, plus sustainability and resiliency. And that's why climate smart agriculture or climate resilient agriculture will be a key thing. This is, again, a result of balancing both economy and ecology. But let's bring in the dimension of equity. So 3 E's have to be considered in pursuit of having to feed the world: economy, ecology, and equity. So still we are not doing good enough because of the 828 million people that are hungry and poor. So in this day and age, you know, looking at the cost of producing per unit kilo of grain or any food for that matter, it's too high. There's so much efficiencies to be employed, and that has to be one of the ways with which the scientists has to come forward and again look at every opportunity to scale, generate at the same time scale up those innovations or technologies that can reduce cost. Just to cite you an example, in the Philippines, rice production, for example, we produce a kilo of rice at a cost of 12 pesos 50 centavos. But Thailand produces it at 8 pesos. Vietnam produces it at 6 pesos. So I believe this is one other way to really, again, innovate and continue to have more productivity, but at the same time also more income for the producers to continue producing food. So this thing about our tendency to regard food as a mere economic product puts us on a technology treadmill. You know, it's beyond technology. You know, food is to serve humanity. Yesterday they were emphasizing this. It's not just agriculture, it's just not a mere production thing, but we produce enough to serve the needs of humanity. Next slide. So we need to look at how we can distribute or have a good procurement system where there are supply gaps so that, or gluts, and we should be able to move with good logistics support those produced towards areas that are needing or needing more, or those regions that are more food insecure. So while in general we can say there is abundance, but why is hunger remaining a scourge for this number of people in the world? And take the case of India, 16.4% of its population are poor, then they cannot buy also the food, 3 square meals a day. Now, the global hunger incidence have swelled by 150 million. So that's now the new figure, the 825 million. So I was already starting to mention, these are the big 3 C's that are really challenging the food and agriculture sector. Climate crisis, you have known this. We have been too long in discussions. Actually, this week, leaders, scientists, the young are all in Egypt attending the COP27 on climate change. But I hope this continuous, discussion will lead to more actions on the ground. Where individually, collectively, and as a country, we have to move to those targets so that the hotter climate that we are in, we should not be going beyond additionally 1.5% degrees centigrade. Now, the other C is COVID-19. Back, please. COVID-19, can you go back? Yeah. Everyone was affected, and even up until today, there are still countries that are having some good cases of COVID-19. Really, this has disturbed the world, and it has brought us to a new world order. Now, conflict in Ukraine really is bad in many ways, much more for countries that are not really having manufacturing facilities like fertilizers. We import, like Philippines, we import 100% of our fertilizer requirement. And that's why today food inflation is really one of the big contributors to the inflation rate of the country, which has gone to about 7.5%. I was looking at the inflation rate for India. I think we are almost in the same category. So in many ways, let's try to be conscious of these 3 big C's. And I believe that with all the consequences of this and the synergy, when you bring together the convergence of these 3 big challenges, you have a perfect storm. And for agriculture, there is this global food crisis, which is real and urgent. And you will see more of this happening every month continuously until next year. So it is urgent. We have to really produce more. We have really to be on war footing, using the language here in India. We must be on a war footing to produce enough. Those who have enough, like India, must also share in many ways. I have a brief story to tell. Before the Ukraine crisis occurred, there was about more than 1 million metric tons, if not 10 million metric tons of wheat. That's the government was ready to give out to countries. That would include the Philippines, because we had the chance then to discuss with the ambassador of India to the Philippines. And we put forward our request after receiving the information from the good ambassador. Then came Ukraine war, starting in March. After that, the government withdrew, that availability of the wheat. They wanted to see to it, of course, that's always a priority, to prioritize the requirements of the population of India. So even in rice trading today, you know, almost one half of the rice that is traded globally is coming from India. And I hope that the trade continues in spite of all of these three C's that I have mentioned, so that we do not exacerbate or compound the real issues of this now impending, looming global food crisis. So again, it's not all technology. More than market orientation, we also have to consider social innovations. You know, social innovations in many respects. Let's take the case of Punjab or Haryana, where rice is grown. And I think December coming, you will see much of the burning of the rice straws. Now, this is one area we need to solve, because this is, you know, the burning of the rice straws will pollute again every now and then the whole of India. And I believe there are better use of these rice straws for energy also, and many other uses. There's so much volume of rice straw that can go to bioenergy. And I was looking at some other approaches to handle this. And again, it's trying to incentivize so that farmers will not have to burn their rice straw. Now, food is special and cannot be divorced from its cultural and environmental context. Like in many Asian countries, even African countries, we have 3 square meals. I mean, food, the grain rice is mainly dominating. And even between that, during snacks time, we eat, again, by value-added products out of rice. So it has become part of the culture of the country. So I believe that all these dimensions we have to consider. Now, one good thing that happened in 2021 is not to look at a commodity component system in agriculture, but look at this agri-food system as an approach. And this is, again, balancing ecology and balancing that with economy and equity, because, again, looking at food systems, you are not just ensuring food security, but now bring in more consciously nutritional security, environmental sustainability, and resiliency. Again, be intentional about technologies and innovations. Remember that science, there are always two sides of the coin, they call it. When you don't try to develop knowledge, generate technology for the good of humanity, but that's one side of the coin. The other side is that there is destruction of humanity if that is, like, for example, the atomic bomb destroys humanity and the like. Nuclear weapons, if at all, will be used, will be destroying humanity. Now, this is now the new thing we would like to highlight in this light of all this balancing act that we have to do. Regenerative agriculture is key, which is anchored on, again, agroecological paradigm. So you have biodiversity. The more diverse you have, the better we are in terms of our coping and or adaptation mechanism. Indigenous knowledge system is always necessary. And the ecosystem, the natural ecosystem has to be nurtured, conserved, and preserved for that matter. Next slide. We need to achieve global food security by first addressing environmental and land degradation. You know, I was with India for ICRISAT for 15 years, and our focus area is on dryland agriculture. And that's where you can find land degradation also as a major problem. And so we need to rejuvenate again our soils so that we can produce much more, even with the newer technologies like hydroponics, vertical farming, precision farming. We still need our soils. Now, one area that we need to explore more and have more innovations on is on naturally occurring soil organisms. You know, the more microbes you have, microbes you have in the soil, by way of enhancing, you know, their multiplication with soil ameliorants, soil biostimulants, then the better that we can, you know, our soils are more productive at the end of the day. And, you know, I always see the pattern that when you have a big challenge like the increasing cost of fertilizers, 3 times than previous. Now today with these biostimulants, biofertilizers, this can complement if we need now to reduce the level of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer. So what we have put in place when I was Secretary of Agriculture is a balanced fertilization strategy to rejuvenate our soils and again have a productive agriculture. So even in, for example, when I was with the ICRISAT 15 years, we had a good working relations with various states. The dryland areas of Karnataka, we did a good soil rejuvenation program, Buchetana, they call it. And from a 0 growth in dryland agriculture for Karnataka before we intervened, today they are now having a 5% growth of dryland farming in Karnataka. Now, precision agriculture is natural complement to sustainable agriculture because you can manage everything there, you know, the right inputs, the right time to, you know, and I believe that this is one future we need to properly promote and advocate. This is in tandem with the tenets of sustainable agriculture. So again, highlighting there are countries now that are heavily investing in this technology, and I believe, as I've said, even in metro areas like Greater Noida, we now can go to precision agriculture or vertical agriculture, where, you know, productivity is really much higher than having to grow them from the soil. Next. Well, weather monitoring systems, you know, with climate change, the weather patterns have changed. You know, you need to have early warning systems to do agriculture so that you can take much of what you are investing or producing. And weather, as I've said, has, you know, shifted. There are times that there is too much rain, little rain, and so plus flooding when there is so much rain. And it is necessary that we now have to invest in these types of systems. Again, policy is key. This was highlighted in yesterday's discussions. Policy plus technology plus the social interventions in a multi-stakeholder efforts are needed so that the fruits of science and innovation must be utilized down there. We have yet to see this in a big way. Well, geopolitical conflicts, again, there are positive, of course, mostly negative, but that there are positive impacts of this. We have to harness what is possible inside our respective countries. And we have to see to it that great scientific ideas are blunted by social and political crises. You know, science and innovation is politics-free, hopefully, political neutral, I believe. Now, investments in global research centers have been notoriously shrinking. I know this because I came from ICRISAT and I've been monitoring the consultative group on international agricultural centers. The budget, the investment coming from the donor community is shrinking. And, you know, while easily countries can just contribute monies to buy arms by the various contending parties in a geopolitical event. So I believe for a country to continuously lead, for an institution to continuously lead in science and technology, we should have the right level of investment, of course, with the quality infrastructure and equipment and the quality personnel. So structural issues have to be brought in as part of the whole dimension to improve the scaling up of all of these technologies. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us support, let our support for science and innovation mindful of more human approaches that cannot be set aside. Thank you, and I hope that, again, that I have given you a glimpse. Thank you very much.
So please. Thank you so much, sir, for the informative lecture. Science and innovation can really accelerate the transformation of agri-food systems so that they become more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life, leaving no one behind. Thank you so much, sir. So we express our deepest gratitude for the dedicated work you have been doing and you do day after day. I would also please request Professor Hasnan and Dr. Sunil Pathak, Vice Chairman Pratishtha Group, to come on the stage and join the dignitaries so that we can felicitate our guest. Please. May I please request our Chancellor, sir, to present the memento and shawl to our chief guest. Thank you so much and congratulations, sir. So we had a very informative talk from you, and there are some questions from the students. So if you allow, may they ask you some questions, sir? Some students want to ask some questions. Yeah? Yeah. So students, please raise your hands. Mike, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, what would be the impact on the economic stability if higher fertilizer-based agriculture is replaced by organic?
So she's asking that what would be the impact on agriculture if we replace fertilizers with organic farming?
Organic.
You know, that's a very important question. I've been asked this question all over because, you know, the organic agriculture is well introduced in many countries now as one way to really produce enough healthy and nutritious food. Now, I would say organic agriculture has its own needs, has its own market. But if you have to now have the whole of India go to organic agriculture, now the yields today are not yet that high. It may take some time to build up again what I've been referring to earlier. The soil rejuvenation has to be sustained in a big way to continuously enhance soil microbial activity. And so, in short, I have, as Minister of Agriculture, when I was there, I have institutionalized a balanced fertilization strategy so that at the end of the day, we sustain productivity. At the same time, we have enough food for the whole population. So those are the things you need to consider in making that decision. But it is the decision of the individual farmer to go which is the best option possible.
Thank you so much, sir. Any other questions?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question is, how long high-yielding fertilizer-responsive varieties will survive in developing nations?
So she's asking that for how long would the fertilizer responsive varieties survive in developing nations?
Now, you know, the varieties are developed, are bred by breeders that we have. So depending how responsive they are to the fertilizer. And there is an evolving objective that why not, if we can lessen the requirement by way of having biological, what I call activity within the plant that can tap more nutrients from the soil and from the air. So that's now becoming an important area.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Good afternoon to all. I want to ask a question. What is sustainability of agricultural systems in the world in totality?
Sir, he would like to know about how in totality is the sustainability in agriculture in the world.
You know, the world is too hot now. The planet is too hot. if we continue the kind of agriculture we have, we might not have a planet to speak of, and people may not be there. And that's why let's not wait for that time that we can go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade more, because by then we don't know whether this planet will exist. So you better balance. You need to sustain your ecosystem, and that's why agroecological farming, regenerative farming must have now to be revisited again, and seeing to it that you have all these parameters properly considered: productivity, profitability, sustainability, resiliency.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Any more questions?
Hello. So good morning, everyone. So considering the fact, the increasing rate of the population, so will we ever reach to a point where we will run out of food?
Sir, he is asking that with the rise in population, will there be a time that we'll run out of food?
I would say with science and innovation that there are technologies that can evolve. Like I was saying, majority today of the food that India is producing is still based from the lands that we have, the soil that we have. But there are newer technologies now that can give you 5 to 8 times more productive than what is obtaining today. Precision agriculture for one, vertical farming is another. So I believe that with this balancing act, of course we need to plan properly our population as well. Otherwise, we keep exploding this world with too many people, and already we may have reached the threshold, So again, it's everyone to be involved in terms of looking at how we can bring in the planning population management, because that continues to be a major hurdle in many ways, all over the country, all over the world.
Thank you so much. Any more questions? So many questions. So we'll end it in one.
Yeah, so you talked about the soil restoration and climate restoration. So why aren't we using genetically engineered crops and microbes to restore climate?
So he's saying that we discussed about the climate destruction and the soil destruction done by the man-made calamities. So why cannot we use genetically engineered? Basically his question is, why not use BT and other genetically modified crops, right? Microbes.
Okay, yeah, the work, the science on microbes still infant. I would say this is one area that any university with a college of agriculture can do much more, because it's in building up, as I've said, the microbial activity. Of course, the microbial activity in the soil or the microbial level in the soil will depend on the level of organic matter that is present in the soil. So there is a good correlation there. As you build up organic matter, then you also build up microbial level and activity. So yes, you can use genetic engineering, whatever. How can you enhance that?
Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Professor H.S. Gog for a formal vote of thanks, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. esteemed dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all the deans, professors, other faculty members, staff, students, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. It's my onerous duty now to propose a vote of thanks after this wonderful session that we had today. It's not mere a coincidence that today we are celebrating this very important day with this event on the National Education Day of India, and we pay homage to late Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, who laid the foundations of modern education in India and established the University Grants Commission, and today we are flourishing on that. This university is one that is also recognized in the same system and nurturing that system again. We have been fortunate to have today amongst us a luminary of the status of Professor William Dar, who is well known in the field of agricultural sciences throughout the world. He has contributed a lot to the dryland agriculture, and India is one country where nearly half of the country has dryland agriculture with paucity of water, and this is one kind of agriculture going to dominate the world, with paucity of water going to happen in more parts of the world. We need newer technology. I remember my visits to ICRISAT when I met him a few times, and I was impressed by the slogan there, "Science with the Human Face," that he had put. He was one of the longest serving Director Generals of ICRISAT in Patancheru, Hyderabad, and he was the one who focused on application of science and technology to agriculture. He said science and technology should be put on ground and should be judged by the fact that how much they solve the problems on the ground, how much they are used and adopted, rather than just the impact factors of journals and others. This is something which he emphasized long back. It stays today also. He has given the world panorama and the kind of problems we are facing, and the kind of response that we received from the audience, from the students, shows very well how well the lecture has gone. The head of our honorable the Sharda family, the great Sharda family, Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Sri P.K. Gupta-ji, is a great visionary himself, a motivator and creator of the Sharda group of institutions in India and abroad. Has become a hallmark of quality in higher education. In various fields, you see this university with 14 different schools covering all kinds of education, all kinds of knowledge human beings look for, except perhaps veterinary sciences. You have every science here. 14,000 students, and the faculty members right on this campus. And the kind of 12, 13 years this university has grown and proven its mark in the country. And having students from more than 80 countries shows the great contribution of Sri P.K. Gupta-ji and the Pro-Chancellor Y.K. Gupta-ji. We are really grateful to you, sir, for sparing a valuable time and chairing this session. Our own leader, the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Sivaram Kharaji, deserves no less appreciation. In fact, he has been the force behind this, not only this event, but also with his expertise in the software engineering, and also the interest he takes in agriculture, and also many other disciplines of this university is something remarkable. He has taken keen interest in organization of this event also. He has looked into every small thing that was needed to be looked into, and monitored us and guided us in this event. Professor Dolly Wataldar has been working day and night, in fact, for this success of this program for the past few days, and she has meticulously seen into every arrangement and guided us in organizing this program. One force behind it I would like to mention was the registrar, Sri Vivek Gupta-ji, and the deputy registrar, Sandeep Rana-ji, who have been very much behind, in fact, looking into everything and whatever facilities we require, they extended immediately. And all the faculty members, staff, everybody has contributed so well. Uzma has been working hard and to coordinate this program and compared it so well. I thank her also. I thank each one in the audience. Particularly, I would also like to appreciate on this occasion the presence of Sri Pathakji, the chairman of the Pratishtha Group of Industries, who are the first holders of perhaps the first patent on nano-biofertilizers in India. And this is one where we're making, and this is what Professor William there was mentioning, that we need to integrate science and technology and really bring in innovation in agriculture, innovation in science, innovation at social level also, and preserve our environment, our climate, at the same time preserve human race through innovation and have sustainable agriculture for all. At the end, I must, last but not the least, I must thank everyone in the audience and also the team of volunteers and staff, the projection team and others who have been working there hard and for the success of this event. And I must thank all those also who are watching this program live on the YouTube and Facebook. I must appreciate their presence also. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, everyone. May I now request everyone to please stand up for National Anthem. Thank you so much. I request all the students and faculty members to please be seated so that we'll first escort our dignitaries. Thank you.